Hey, everybody. What's going on? What's hot? What's hip? What's happening? What is shaking on your Monday night? Hope you're having a good one. Tonight, we're going to tell you all about Hee Haw, hee haw. And there's a lot to tell. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my God. We got royalty in here. Joey Catalano himself, Joey C. Let me tell you something. I was going to open the show talking about I got to be on Joey's birthday celebration last night. It was wonderful. We all had a great time. It was a blast. I'm so happy that I got to do it. And also, what in the high holy is going on here with my? Sorry, folks. I'm going to have to fix something real quick. I'm talking about right there. We don't need any of that. So what happened was even Bob Levy called me, and I got to put him on the thing. My phone. It was the thing. Anyway, it was a great time. Joey, great guy. Hope things are going well there. Oh my goodness, roller skater girl. Whoa, hide that. RSTG, roller skater Texas girl. Thank you so much for the $9.99. That is very generous of you. Oh, and roller skater Texas girl. See my name tonight, huh? Huh? Yeah, we're thinking on the same thing there. People saying hi to Joey C. It is no really surprise that Joey C. would be far more popular on my own show than I've ever been. There's Doom saying hi to Joey. Doom never comes in here. Let's see. Guess who's back from the dead? Guess who's back from the dead? That's Aku Mugen, who talked to us on Friday. Joey says, Joey is a new YouTube member. Well, and Joey's saying hi to Doom. Things are looking up. Roller skater Texas girl is you're very welcome. Well, thank you. Yeah, it's so nice. Stan the man, Stanley Cross. I am the conversation, mother. That was the very first thing I ever heard Stan say, and it lives with me to this day. Stanley is. He's pretty awesome. You can go check him out at the Urban Landlord channel. And I would give you a time, but he's on it 24 hours a day. So you're pretty close to him. Rumpled Trenchcoat Ape Colombo podcast. Hello, sir. People saying hi. Roller skater takes wow, what a coincidence. It's not a coincidence. It's serendipity is what that is. Let's see. Doom says, watching you on Catalano TV has made me a renewed fan, Tom. I didn't realize you were ever a fan. I didn't realize there were anybody that was a fan of the show. People saying hi to Stanley. Stanley's the real deal. He's a very fascinating personality. Aku's called in and hated listening to himself in the replay. I thought you sounded great. I wish you'd call in more. I thought you sounded fabulous. So anyway, I'm going to go through Hee Haw here. And then we're going to maybe open the phone lines. Now, the other thing we got going on is Friday on this program, Mr. Ed Robertson will be appearing. I don't know which of the two books he's got out right now will do. I do know that one of them, though, contains... do I need to show it again? Here we go. So, like, my quote begins here in the bottom paragraph and continues all the way to here, right? Oh, sorry. Hold on. Let me see. Right here. See? So that's like a third of a page, right? I mean, that's a big quote. Normally it's just this, but it's a big, giant, honking. Let's see here. Terry Nee says he's an angel investor. Yes, Terry Nee is the private equity fund that runs this show. People saying hi, chef's in the house. Don't we love it when the chef is in the house? Aku says, oh, I just hate the sound of my own voice. Aku, I've got a theory. I think everybody hates the sound of their own voice. Now, some people like to hear themselves talk, but I think everybody, I know, fabulously successful voice talent that they hate the sound of their voice. I hate the sound of my voice. I feel like I sound like a 12-year-old, collecting for the Indianapolis Star. People saying hi. People saying hi. People saying hi. People saying hi. Oh, by the way, those of you who are members, we did a 2-hour program on Pearl Harbor yesterday. And it contains my imitation of Winston Churchill. So if you're not a member, you're missing out on the gold. Let me tell you, see, Stanley is saying, yes. Stanley's a good man. Aku, you have a great voice on air. Actually, Aku, you do. You have a really good voice. You should not be, all of us are envious of your voice. You know what's going to be wild is we're going to go over Hee Haw. And I think even when I was a kid, Hee Haw, I don't think it was ever like actually on TV. It was just syndicated forever. And we had Hee Haw, Lawrence Welk, and Soul Train on the air at the same time, syndicated music program, which is one from column A, one from column B, one from column C. But we are all, I mean, I don't think anybody sets out necessarily to watch Hee Haw. Now, it could be in your programming lineup. So, like, there's one show you like and there's another show you like, and Hee Haw's in the middle. Totally legitimate, But we're all going to remember so much about Hee Haw. Well, I don't know about Stanley. Stanley might not have. Then again, Stanley, South Carolina and all that. Yeah, he might as well. Aka says, I feel bad for shattering Tama idea. I would sound like Forrest Gump. I didn't think you'd sound like Forrest Gump. I thought you'd sounded like some French Canadian. I don't know who can say for sure, But anyway, Terry Nee and Monty Python. Well, yeah. It was on at the same. Yeah, but I don't know if I'd call it a music program, although they did have music. I have no idea what Hee Haw is, and I'm excited to learn. Well, you've come to the right place, Doom, and you will know very soon why this show is totally insignificant. UK horror scene, Matthew Barnett. Good evening, Tom. Good evening to you, sir, across the pond. Roller Skater Texas Girl says, I saw Buck Owens once, the Cattle Baron's Ball, Tiger, but I've got a tiger by the tail. They're gonna put me in the movies. They're gonna make a big star out of me. Anyway, all I gotta do is act naturally. Good evening, everybody. People saying hi, Roller Skater Tester at Ross Perot's place. Well, now, Ross Perot, very high end. I've been to the Perot Museum of Science and Creepy Things. My grandmother watched it back to back. Awesome. Well, we're going to get down. Jim Fanning's here. Always good to see Jim. He's here, there, and everywhere. Aku says, Hee Haw was a touch before my time. I'm unsure if it was aired up here. I think it may still be airing. Maybe reruns, but here, and I'm not going to say too much about this. Oh, Lawrence Welk. Yeah, Lawrence Welk and Hee Haw were indeed back to back. And here's another thing. Just to get the breadth of the white experience, you had to have Hee Haw and Lawrence Welk back to back. You had sort of the upscale middle class white, and then right into, I'm picking and I'm grinning. Let's see here. We were gifted tickets. Oh, well. Oh, well. Then, hey, why don't I tell you about Hee Haw? Let's cut to the chase here. I'm just teasing you. Yesterday, during Joey Catalano's birthday celebration, I got a phone call, and I got a phone call on this phone, which never do I get a phone call on, and because I don't give my phone number out to too many people, although Joey does have it. It was Bob Levy. Bob never calls. And so I got to put him on speaker up to the thing, and I felt really like a big shot for 5 or 10 minutes. It wore off really quickly this morning when he started making fun of me again, but I love it when people make fun of me. For the most part. And let's not go crazy. Yeah. Well, anyway, I'm going to tell you about Hee Haw, and you're going to love it. and then I'm going to eat because I'm starving. And let's see. Stanley says, we had lots of white experience in Savannah, Georgia. That's right. It was Savannah, Georgia, not South Carolina. I don't know why I said South Carolina. Let's see. Hee Haw was played in Canada. I'm sure Hee Haw's worldwide. You can't. Oh, by the way, did I not get an awesome picture here? Hold on. Look at that. Look at that. Huh? Is that not just the best? Okay. For this show, the level of entertainment that we're used to here, is that not the best? I'm so happy. There's so many great people here in the room right now. I'm going to get through this real quick and open up the phone line. Maybe. Let's see. Bob once said if he put my head on a normal body, it'd look like a Pez dispenser. He's so gosh darn funny. Rumpel, do you like how I subbed out gosh darn on the fly? On the fly. Not Superfly. I'm going to make your fortune by and by. If you lose, won't be no... Anyway, I believe it reached the UK at some point. The UK had kind of a American country music popularity for a little while over there. It was a little bit weird. Best hip and bosoms on Hee Haw. Okay, I didn't want to get too far into this. The Hee Haw honeys... smoking. You weren't going to see anything on Lawrence Welk, and of course you were going to see everything on Soul Train. So the Ganilla Hutton, are you kidding me? I was legit impressed on the gosh darn for gut damn. Either you use gosh darn or you use gut damn. I want to see one of them gut. That's when I knew somebody meant it, is when they didn't pronounce God and then gut damn. What gut damn? Oh, hey, how many of you recognize that there? Huh? Look at that guy. Better teeth than I have. Anyway, Hee Haw, as you all know, was an American TV show featuring country music with the fictional, and most people don't realize this, but the Hee Haw world, the universe of Hee Haw, was actually set in a fictional rural place that I kind of remotely remembered when I was doing this research, but it was called Cornfield County. And it aired, get this, 1969 to 1993, which is 24 years. And then it aired again on the Nashville network from 96 to 97, and you're thinking, who cares? That's not very long. But then reruns were on RFD TV from 2008 to 2020. So that's another 12 years. So 12 and 2 is 15, and 24 is, you're looking at like 39 years. The show was inspired by another program we've done a show on, and that's Rowan and Martin's Laugh-In, but it really centered on country music and rural stuff. It was hosted by, oh man, for most of the run, it was hosted by, yes, the legendary Roy Clark, and yes, the legendary Buck Owens, who RSTG has seen in real life. Wow, people are really getting it. It was a family event. It really was. We watched it. The whole family did. After we sat through, we were just waiting for the wonderful world of Disney, okay? That's what we were waiting on. And we had to watch that other crap to get to it. I used to watch that with my dad. He enjoyed that show very much. Families gathered for this show. Yes, we did. Rumpled Trenchcoat says, salad. We'll get to that in a minute. My pronouns are he and haw, says Terry Nee, who is hilarious. I'd like to see Joey C. on Hee Haw. What are you guys doing with all this corn around here, huh? Don't you got any other food around here? Come on. I need a Chicago dog. Anyway, it's my own personal fantasy. Joey C. I'm sorry. Anyway, Buck Owens and Roy Clark did the thing for most of the show's run, and the humor was very cornpone, and they were also known for their voluptuous, scantily clad women, the Hee Haw honeys, who were in your sort of farmer's daughter outfits. But the appeal was not limited to folks out in the country like we was in Indiana, right? Well, it wasn't limited to just that there. You know, it was a major hit in all of the big cities, including L.A., New York, Boston, Chicago. It basically was produced in such a way they didn't want to spend a lot of money producing it, so they did all of those sketches and those little comedy bits in huge batches. So one day they would set up the cornfield and remember how they'd pop up out of the corn and do a little joke and go back down. They did all of those in one day for the most of the season. And at the peak of the show, a whole season's worth of shows were recorded over the course of 2 week-long shoots. And they just put them together in the editing suite. Musical performances were taped with a live audience. So the music was live and cool, and they really, really had all the biggest stars of country music on Hee Haw. And then a laugh track was added to the other segments. It was taped for CBS at the CBS affiliate in downtown Nashville, and then later on they did it at Opryland, USA. It was produced by Young Street Productions through the mid-'80s, and then it was produced by Gaylord Entertainment, which distributed the show in syndication. And the show name was derived from a common, phrase, "Hee haw, hee haw, hee haw, George, hee haw, George." It's Sam Wainwright, which had been around for years. So there you go. So the show's set in Cornfield County. Let me get you another picture up here. You don't want to look at my face for that long. I mean, I don't blame. But my pictures are all of personalities I'm going to discuss. What will I do? I'll just use that for a placeholder for the time being. Let's see here. I was laughing. Both of them were excellent musicians. Oh my God, legendary. The Duke, John's cat, Xavier. I loved Hee Haw. We all loved Hee Haw. Don't throw those beans at me, Mr. Hee Haw. Best Joey C around. I don't know if I do that great of a Joey C. I think Joey C is Joey C. Reno Hightower says, having grown up around Bakersfield, California, we used to see Buck Owens driving around town in the Buckmobile. Were the Buckaroos with him? Yeah, the Bakersfield Sound. On the streets of Bakersfield. You don't know me, you don't know me. Let me see here. Reno, that's awesome. Didn't Charlie Pride perform occasionally, Tom? My grandmother was a huge fan. Not only did Charlie Pride perform on the show, Charlie Pride lived here in Dallas, Texas. And I knew exactly where his house was. It was over there in... I want to say Arlington. It'll come to me because I used to walk right by it. I think it was Arlington. It was the one I lived in Addison. Maybe it was when I think it was when I lived in Addison. Anyway, he lived, in fact, I know it was in Addison because there was a big sort of comfort food restaurant on Preston Road, and you'd see Charlie Pride heading into there, heading out of there all the time. I mean, you could walk up to Charlie Pride and just say hi. He was great. He was a great guy. He was always friendly and just a good dude. Love me some Charlie Pride. Love me some Charlie Pride. Let's see here. So, Hee Haw is set in Cornfield County, and obviously, rural farming community in an unspecified state in southern USA. And the show's sketches mostly center around visits to local businesses in the county and offbeat characters who live and work there. Here is some of your favorite sketches and segments, which I will do. this is maybe, I'm going to say this for every single thing. Where, oh, where are you tonight? Why did you leave me here all alone? I searched the world over and I thought I'd found true love. You met another and pff, you was gone. So that's a comic duet that was featured on the very, very premiere episode. And the first few seasons, the song was performed by Archie Campbell. By the way, this is the only picture I could find of Archie Campbell. And the reason I'm showing it is because it's obviously was taken on a crappy, like, Kodak or something, disposable camera. And that was the look back then. But there's Archie Campbell. And with Gordy Tapp. And these are both Canadian. There's a lot of Canadians on Hee Haw. With Gordy Tapp joining in on the chorus. Now, in later seasons, a guest star. Because if you remember, their heads were turned and the guest star would turn and they would reveal who they were and everybody would go, oh my God. And, usually Tapp, Grandpa Jones, George Lindsay, who we'll get to in a second, and Grandpa Jones, Kenny Price, Roy Acuff or Dub Taylor on the chorus. And the guest star's name would often, but not always, be mentioned somewhere in the song's verse prior to the chorus. On episodes that featured more than one major guest star, the sketch was repeated so that all the guest stars would have an opportunity to participate. Rarely, a surprise guest star would appear who wasn't even in the episode. So, Tapp or Campbell or whatever, and the guest star often stood with his back or her back to the viewer holding a pitchfork, while Campbell, the other cast member, holding a scythe, sang the verse. And at the end of the verse, Campbell or the cast member would nudge the guest star with the elbow as a form of slapstick timing, and then they would spin around and do the thing. The was blowing a raspberry. Occasionally the duo would break up in laughter after the unable to finish the song. The one who got spat on upon a changed for each show. Following Campbell's death, whole groups and even women would be part of the chorus, with George Lindsay, you know him as Goober from Gomer Pyle, often singing the verse. And incidentally, and I'll tell you about this more in a second, but George Lindsay wasn't George Lindsay on Hee Haw. He was playing Goober again. So anyway, occasionally in the later years, Ronnie Stoneman, in her role of Ida Lee Nagger, sometimes would sing the verse. The song itself was written years earlier by Lee Roberts and recorded in 1952. Another really, really, prevalent portion of Hee Haw was the KORN News. Don Herron, as Korn radio announcer Charlie Farquharson, would humorously spoof the delivery of local news in his own special way. In later seasons, Korn became KORV, I think because there was actually a KORN in Mitchell, South Dakota. I don't really know what, And this is a character Don Herron had been doing since 1952, and he just brought it to Hee Haw. Lulu's Truck Stop. Lulu Roman owned a greasy spoon where the food and customer service were usually pretty bad. Gillard Sartain, who was Officer Lawnmower in the Hollywood Nights, was also in the sketch as Chef Orville. And George Lindsay often appeared in the sketch as their goofy patron. Let me see here. Why don't I just go ahead and put George Lindsay up for a while? We keep mentioning his name over and over. There's Goober. Judy. Do your imitation. Judy. I guess, should I pause here for a second? I'm going to pause and read some of your, because if not, I'm never going to be able to get through all these. Raspberry, you was gone. Yeah. I got my fashion sense from Junior Samples. Well, we'll be covering Junior here in a second, Reno. Roller skater, Texas girl. He was a great comedian. Tierney says opera singer. Let's see, Lulu. Virgo is here. Virgo says, hey, Tom, hope your new gig's going well for you. Stanley, hey, people saying hi, people saying hi. Citizens arrest, citizens arrest. Do your imitation. Judy, Judy, Judy. Judy, Judy, Judy. Let's see here. The Hee Haw Players, that was when the cast members would do Shakespearean classics, which was always hilarious. Hee Haw Amateur Minute, that was a showcase of some of the worst talent on earth, where a cast member would play a yokel who'd had a bad talent, which would almost always end with booing and vegetables being thrown and the hook coming out. And I'm going to skip that one. String Bean's Letter from Home. I'm going to show you String Bean later, but I don't like to talk about String Bean because String Bean was murdered for what the guys there thought was money in his house. It's a horrible story. The Haystack was when one of the male cast members and one of the Hee Haw Honeys would talk about love issues while sitting at the Haystack. The Moonshiners, two of the male cast members playing lethargic hillbillies, lazily told a joke while dozing on the floor near a bunch of empty moonshine jugs in Beauregard, the Wonder Dog, with 3 or 4 Hee Haw Honeys reclining in the background. Occasionally in later seasons, the camera zoomed in on the honeys telling a joke. They had these things called Advice to the Lovelorn, where Hee Haw Honey Lisa Todd, reclining on a living room sofa, gave wacky love advice in a sultry manner and closed the sketch by winking at the camera. In later seasons of the sketch, George Lindsay there, who provided the voiceover introduction, now appeared on screen wearing a leisure suit, introducing the sketch. This is a big one. And that's Pickin' and Grinnin'. And that was musical interludes with Buck Owens on guitar and Roy Clark on banjo, and the entire cast. And Buck would say, well, I'm picking. And Roy Clark would say, and I'm grinning. And then the duo, sometimes with a major guest star like Johnny Cash, sitting in between Buck and Roy, dueling by playing guitar and banjo, the instrumental to Cripple Creek, which is an old traditional. It's not the Cripple Creek by the band. It's a different Cripple Creek. And they would tell jokes and give one-liners. And the sketch always ended with Roy Clark's banjo solo, each time ending in a different comical way. For the first 2, the sketch only featured Clark and Owens, and in later seasons, the entire cast participated. And with the entire cast participating, the sketch was introduced by the show's MC, Kathy Baker. The sketch at first would always open up the second half of the show. Another one here, RSTG, Roller Skater Texas Girl, mentioned it earlier. You can see it in my name right now, BR549. And that was Junior Samples as a used car salesman selling the worst cars you've ever seen in your life. This huge deadpan, just BR549. And he'd hold up a piece of cardboard with BR549. Our good friend, Rumpled Trenchcoat, mentioned Gloom, Despair, and Agony on Me. It was another popular sketch. It usually was performed by 4 male cast members, originally and usually Roy Clark, Gordy Tapp, Grandpa Jones, and Arch Campbell, sitting around in hillbilly garb, surrounded by moonshine jugs and looking overtly miserable. And the song began with the chorus, which all of them sang, each one in alternating this mournful howl that was actually lip-synced at the end of the first 3 lines. You know, gloom, despair, and agony on me, deep, dark depression, excessive misery. If it weren't for bad luck, I'd have no luck at all. Gloom, despair, and agony on me. Oh, you can hear that wail. And then there were funny choruses. There was a sketch called The Gossip Girls, which was basically the female counterpart to Gloom, Despair, and now we're not one to go around spreading rumors while we're really not the gossipy kind. No, you'll never hear one of us repeating gossip, so you better be sure and listen close the first time. And then they would Misty Rowe. Oh my goodness, I'm telling you what. And in later years, male cast members in drag sometimes replaced the girls in the sketch, and apparently that was cool. Anyway, Hee Haw salutes 2 or 3 times each episode. Hee Haw saluted a selected town or a guest star's hometown and announced its population. So, Carmel, Indiana, population 5,423. And everybody would jump up in the cornfield and go, salute. And everybody would laugh. And in the mid-'70s, they changed it to applause. And yeah, there you go. The joke fence. We all remember the joke fence. These are all simple ideas, but they work so well. 2 or 3 times in a show, a cast member, usually a honey, standing in front of a high wooden fence, told a one-liner joke. That was it. And we loved it. We had Archie's Barber Shop, where the regular customer was Roy Clark, and they would just sit there and have comedic dialogue like backwards fairy tales or Rindersella. He always had some funny way of messing up the name of the story. Doc Campbell. Man, Doc Campbell was a very long-running sketch, and he played the part of a doctor who gave out terrible advice and bizarre medical facts, and the patients were usually the cast members. And it's also remembered for cast member Ganilla Hutton as the assistant. He was it seemed to me like 90% of them would be like, Doc, it hurts when I do this. Well, then don't do that. Anyway, Justice of the Peace was Arch Campbell as a judge who settled in kind of a people's court manner, but they were never really legal infractions. It was, the sheep keeps eating my peanut butter, or something like that. Anyway, the Hee Haw dictionary, he would give like a country dictionary kind of a explanation for the meaning of the word. Let's see, who else do we have? We wanted to do George, and we had Grandpa Jones. Hey, Grandpa, what's for supper? We're having corn on the cob and refried beans and a mess of... And he'd go on and on and on and on and on. And a few times on it, because he did this off the top of his head. And a few times he just went, I got nothing. And the whole cast just destroyed the first time he did that. He just went, I got nothing. And everybody laughed so hard that they did it a few more times. There used to be a show on called That's Incredible, and so Hee Haw did a parody of it called Real Incredible. That was basically Goober showing clips of actual rural people doing weird things. Misty's Bedtime Stories was cast member Misty Rowe. Oh boy. And now it's time for Misty's Bedtime Stories. And it's usually Grandpa Jones or Goober that would deliver that. And then she had a bizarre moral to the story. Goober's Garage was just a bunch of guys telling jokes and stuff in Goober's Garage. The Farmer's Daughter basically was cast member Linda Thompson, being the daughter of cast member Kenny Price. And it was a running gag in the sketch that Price always came up with a clever way to thwart her dates with her boyfriend Billy Bob. The Hee Haw's all jug band was most of the female cast. Get it? Singing a comical song, because all jug. Hey, Grandpa, what's for supper? I mentioned that a little earlier. Chickens and biscuits smothered in gravy, rich collard beans, and at the end of it, they'd go, yum, yum. Although sometimes he served really awful or thought-out TV dinners, and the cast would reply, yuck. And I mentioned to you, I ain't got nothing. Another time, he offered a big, fresh roast of good moose meat, and they booed him. In later seasons, Grandpa wore a chef's hat with his head peeking out an open kitchen doorway, but usually it was the back door that he would lean his head out of. There he is, Grandpa Jones. Hey, Grandpa, what's for supper? Let's see here. There's so many of these that there's literally, Grandpa and Minnie's Kitchen. That was Grandpa Jones and Minnie Pearl. And Minnie Pearl, famous for Howdy. There she is. Was also on the program. Biggs, Shy and Stir, The Cornfield. Those were people popping up out of the cornfield to tell jokes. String Bean played the Scarecrow, delivering one-liners before being shouted down by the crow on his shoulder. But he was murdered, horribly murdered. The Naggers were a couple that nagged at each other, which it's a pronunciation problem there. Let's see, you get in trouble. That's all I'm saying. Let's see, Cornfield County Operator Assistants, Grinders Switch Gazette. About 200 years ago, which that sketch ran during the Bicentennial Minutes CBS era. The Almanac, Grandpa Jones had almanac entries that made no sense. Archie's Angels, which was a parody of Charlie's Angels. Let's Truck Together, which was kind of a CB radio craze thing. The Hee Haw Honky Tonk. They had a mechanical bull. Curl Up and Die, which was a beauty parlor. Fit as a Fiddle was meant to capitalize on the aerobics craze during the 80s, and it had cast members Ganilla Hutton and Misty Rowe, and I don't really care about the rest of them. They were all fabulous. Slim Pickens was only on the show for a few years before he died, but they did Slim Pickens Barbecue. They did The Post Office, The Quilt, Knock Knock, The Hambone Brothers, Ben Colder, which was basically Sheb Woolley singing novelty songs. Claude Strawberry, country poet, and that was Roy Clark playing a poet. Anyway, so the cast, I mentioned so many of them. By the way, like, share, subscribe, retweet, notification bell, all the free things you can do to help us serve the algorithm, the almighty, all-powerful, all-seeing algorithm. And then we do have memberships, and we do have super chats. Some people have already been kind enough to participate in those. We have a monetary goal every night, which has been shattered, and that goal is any amount of money. And then please turn on your gifted memberships. Sometimes the generous people around here do give gift memberships so that you can listen to my 2 hours on Pearl Harbor and hear my Winston Churchill imitation. I'm just saying. Let's see here. Roy Acuff. I'm gonna pull out the biggest names because there's too many here. Barbie Benton. We mentioned Archie Campbell. Tennessee Ernie Ford. 16 tons, what do you get? Another day older and deeper in debt. Anyway, Ganilla Hutton, Grandpa Jones, Goober, George Lindley, Little Jimmy Dickens. Country music people will know Little Jimmy Dickens. Erlene Mandrell, one of the Mandrell sisters, Charlie McCoy, Minnie Pearl, as I mentioned, Slim Pickens, who rode the bomb and Dr. Strange and all that. Jeannie C. Riley, Alice Ripley, Lulu Roman, Junior Samples, Shotgun Red, Jonathan Winters, the Buckaroos, Buck Owens Band, initially was the house band on the show and had Don Rich, the legendary Don Rich, taken too soon in a motorcycle accident, Jim Shaw, Jerry Brightman, many others. But in later seasons, they hired Nashville musicians to be the house band. And let me see. George Ritchie was the first music director, but he left to marry Tammy Wynette. And harmonica player Charlie McCoy took his place. Some of the cast members made national news headlines. Lulu Roman was twice charged with drug possession in 1971. David Stringbean Ackerman, as I mentioned, and his wife were murdered in November of 1973 during a robbery at their home. Slim Pickens. Thankfully, Slim Whitman never appeared on the show. Less than 2 years after joining the series, was diagnosed with a fatal brain tumor, and of course, Don Rich of the Buckaroos was killed in that motorcycle accident in 1974. After Buck Owens left the show, a different country music artist would accompany Roy Clark as guest co-host each week, and participated with Clark in the Pickin' and Grinnin' sketch. So there you go. The show's final season, Hee Haw Silver, was hosted by Roy Clark alone. The show featured 2 and sometimes 3 guest stars per episode, not just one. Running out of pictures here. I've got another one. Is it String Bean? Let me see who else I got here. I've got one more. Normally I'm only allowed a certain amount, but my good friend said, StreamYard, thanks. Because there needs to be a limit on that sort of thing. What the hell's going on here? The BD has my computer. Let's see. What's this jacking with me for? What's this jacking around with me for? Let's see here. I swear to God, I'm putting up another picture. Here we go. Here, let's see what they give me. Let's see what I made yesterday or whatever day it was. And we'll get Minnie Pearl off the screen. Oh, there's String Bean. He was murdered horribly with his wife in his house by some guys that thought he had a bunch of silver dollars in his house. It was really awful. There were 2 or 3 guests each show, special guests. Most of the guest stars were country music artists. A wide range of other famous people appeared. Sheb Woolley, who plays the principal in Hoosiers and is known for being on Rawhide and also recording a song. It was a one-eyed, one-horn, flying purple people eater. That was Sheb Woolley. Loretta Lynn was the first guest star on Hee Haw and made more guest appearances, 24, than any other artist. And she also co-hosted the show more than any other guest co-host, and therefore is on more of the DVD releases than any other star. Loretta Lynn also really good at comedy. She did not mind being made fun of or whatever. And anyway, Tammy Wynette was second with 21 appearances, and that was because she married the musical director for 7 years. Before kicking him to the curb like she did everybody. From 90 to 92, and this was huge, country music mega star Garth Brooks appeared 4 times. Now here's an interesting story, finally. Elvis Presley was a fan of Hee Haw, and he wanted to appear as a guest on the program, but he knew his manager, Colonel Tom Parker, would never allow him to. Never. 2 of the Hee Haw honeys, dated Elvis Presley long before they joined the cast. Linda Thompson, in the mid-70s, who he had a long-term relationship after divorce and Scylla, and Diana Goodman shortly thereafter. Charlie McClure played harmonica on a few of Presley's recordings in the late 60s. Joe Babcock of the Nashville edition also sang backup vocals on his recordings of the time. So shortly after his death, his father, Vernon Presley, made a cameo appearance on the show alongside Thompson and Buck Owens and paid tribute to the late Elvis Presley, noting how much Elvis enjoyed watching the show, and introduced one of his favorite gospel songs, which was performed by the Hee Haw Gospel Quartet. So Elvis, hey man, I kind of like to be on Hee Haw. Hey man, why don't you do me a favor, get me on Hee Haw. Anyway, the band on Hee Haw was called the $1 Million Band. Once there was a band on there called the $1 Million Band. We'll put it this way. They played, but it was Chet Atkins on guitar, Boots Randolph on saxophone, Roy Clark on guitar, Floyd Kramer on piano, Charlie McCoy on harmonica, Danny Davis on trumpet, Jethro Burns on the mandolin, and Johnny Gimble now. Johnny Gimble played with the Bob Wills and the Texas Playboys. I mean, that's $1 Million Band. The Hagers, the twin brothers singing duo, would be on it. And many of the cast members that were females were also singers. So they would occasionally perform a song with Buck or Roy. There you go. By the way, they also had cloggers on. Whoever the clogging champion was, they'd bring them on. Show premiered on CBS June 15th, 1969 as a summer series. And during the rural purge, they got rid of it. The network picked it up as a last-minute replacement for the Smothers Brothers Comedy Hour. So Hee Haw had solid ratings. It was number 16 in the ratings for the 70-71 season, but it was part of the rural purge. But some people got together and said, no, people love this damn show. So like a lot of these shows that are in syndication, it was acquired and reacquired and double acquired and all that stuff. Hee Haw Silver is a program that is a retrospective, and it looks at performers who had died since performing in the Hee Haw highlighted content. Reruns, the Nashville network ran them, and then RFD TV left them. And right now, Time Life compiles and syndicates half-hour clip show series called the Hee Haw Collection. It continues to be popular with longtime fans and younger viewers who have discovered it through the DVD releases or reruns through the years. In spite of the popularity among its fans, the program has never been a favorite of television critics or reviewers. Yeah. The Hee Haw Honeys had their own spinoff, and a Hee Haw Theater opened in Branson, Missouri in 1981 and went till 1983, featuring live shows of the cast as well as guests and other talent. And then, of course, it wasn't around anymore. And they also had a comic book adaptation. Charlton Comics published a humor comic based on Hee Haw. And that's really all I have to tell you. And I could have taken much longer to do this about Hee Haw. And now let's remove the horribly murdered David Springbean, whatever his name was, off the screen. And what we got here. Let's go through your wonderful. Let's see. Hey, Tom. Hey, Virgo. How you doing? I think I might have read these. Stanley. Yes. Hungus Mungus, also known as Sven Dunkel, here was. Yes, Tom. Thanks. Miss you over there. Oh, over where? Yeah. I just, first problem is the drunk guy. And that's a big problem. The second, and it's probably overlooked problem, are the people who host programs and think the drunk guy is adding something and let him run wild because that's funny. So at a certain point you go, I sit here, I wait patiently, I try to add things, and if I got to deal with that dude who could never get within 10 feet of me in real life, I'll go. There's better ways to. But I do think there's a lot of fine people over there, and I strongly encourage people to go over to the Urban Landlord and check it out and see what's there and enjoy it. Rumple Trenchcoat says, "Hey, Hungus, so sad, yeah." And the thing was, he didn't have the money there. There was no money there, or maybe there was some money there. Maybe I'll do well. We will be doing a show on string bean. By the way, I've added some since that Reagan assassination. Dick Prenicky. Oh my God, when I tell you about Dick Prenicky. Japanese internment, and of course, string bean. Roller skater Texas girl, possum stew and pickles pig feet. Yum. Rumple Trenchcoat said it was such a silly detail, but Minnie Pearl always leaving the price tag on her hat was funny to me as a kid. It really was. She was noted for that, and the hattie. And she, like she was going to take it back or wanted people to know how much it cost. It's like, this is new. Terry says, I heard Barbie Benton was in Playboy. Heard. Oh, she so was. And she was so on, like... Love Boat and Fantasy Island 7,000 times. She was like just the hot girl of the 70s, whatever. We need a hot girl. Get Barbie Benton on the phone. For those of you still marveling at my handwriting, there you are. There we go. Let's see here. Terry, my dad has that Playboy issue. I bet he does. When I was a kid, you never saw one Playboy. You always saw a giant stack of them in somebody's garage. Slim Pickens is my spirit animal in Dr. Strangelove. Is he your spirit animal in Blazing Saddles? Somebody go get a shitload of dimes. Roller Skater Texas Girl. She was on the cover, if I remember correctly. There was a cover? I'll look it up. Says Trump was on Hee Haw, was he? I don't doubt it. Everybody was. Roller Skater Texas Girl says, I remember that song. It was a one-eyed, one-horned, flying purple people eater. He's also the principal in, and I think he may have some sort of tie to Indiana, but it was the principal in Hoosiers. Well, it's only been 2 days since, let's not be repeating ourselves. Anyway, a Roller Skater Texas Girl says, Terry, Barbie did a hell of a lot of Playboy issues. I was about to say, she did way more than one. Barbie dated Howard Hughes. She dated a lot of people. She was a known dater of men. Terry Nee says, dummy Hugh Hefner. I'm tired. Yeah, she was with Hef. Yes, with Hefner. People laughing. Terry Nee says, Tom, you just sit there and look pretty. That's pretty much the strategy behind the show. Love American Style. Okay, we'll do one on Love American Style. Don't dare me. Don't you even. Love American Style. Truer than the red, white, and blue. Woo, woo, woo. Love American Style. Ah, that's me and you. Da, 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 da. Up on a star of a night, my love coming to you. You can rest your head on my shoulder. Ba, 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 ba. Hey, Friday, Ed Robertson. You guys think I know about old TV shows? Do you think you know about old TV shows? No. Ed Robertson. Ed freaking Robertson. Yeah, I said it. Ed freaking Robertson is going to be on here. And there's the other book right out. It's now Men of Action right there. He's going to be on here. And if you think I have a problem, a sickness about old TV shows, Friday I will introduce you to Patient Zero. This guy knows it all. Do a show on boomers. I'm curious about them. You know, there may be one in your bathroom mirror. Go look, check. There might be one there. It was a stack of Playboys too. Yeah, Roller Skater Texas Girl. My grandfather just boom, like up to my waist at the time, and I'm like, wow, these are stereo equipment article. Well, now I'm interested. Wow. Let's see, maybe HR Puffin stuff. I may have done one on HR Puffin stuff. Let's see, HR Puff and stuff. Maybe also Sid and Marty Krofft. Probably a Sid and Marty Krofft one would be better. Because then you get Sigmund and the Sea Monsters and all the rest of them in there. Let's see, Chef says, say goodnight, Gracie. Good night, Gracie. Terry, great idea. Great idea. Well, what am I going to do? Just say boomers. We're way cooler than you, so we don't really care if you call us boomers. I wish we could work up the, yes, Squidward. Let me see here. I'm going to go ahead and open up the phone lines for just a bit. I don't really think I should, but I'm going to. Sigmund, and the Sea Monsters. And it had Johnny Whitaker was in it, who you remember, of course, from Family Affair. Oh no, Family Affair. We're not doing every show. We over time we will, but I got to do some other shows too about things and stuff like the Wonder Bra or elephants or Dan Rather. I could do a show about box wine, the detrimental brain erasing effects of, let's see here, Cracker Jack. I got stuff. By the way, and I'll find out more about this as we go a little further into the month, I'm doing a show on It's a Wonderful Life, and I believe I will have as a special guest, we've agreed in principle, the Reverend Bob Levy. I don't know for how long, I don't know anything other than we both love that movie. Roller Skater says, yes, the Wonder Bra. I've seen them. Most of my dates don't need them. I have seen one or two on the floor in the master bedroom. It's a wonderful pod. Yeah. Yeah. It is. All right, the phone lines are open at 972-994-6822. I don't know why they're open, but they are. If we get some calls, great. If we don't, then we don't going to worry about it. It's not going to be a big deal. Terry Garr, Section 230, Dan Raveler with Fairness Doctrine, Stockholm Syndrome, Joy Buzzer, Wonder Bra, Texas Roadhouse, Nick Rowe. We have to redo the Nick Rowe show. Maybe we'll do that this week. Gertrude Stein, Elephants, the Burqa and or Hijab, Stan Rogers, the aforementioned It's a Wonderful Life, Fred Hampton, COINTELPRO, Cracker Jack, The Anarchist Cookbook, Phil Hartman, Hee Haw. Oh, mark that off the list. I always like you guys to get to see a little of the behind the scenes. Anyway, Reagan assassination, Dick Prenicky. Dick Prenicky went way up into the middle of nowhere in Alaska, and he built a cabin, and guess what? He filmed himself building the cabin, and that means cutting the trees down by himself, building the cabin by himself. By himself. Trees, things, just making doors and Japanese internment, String Bean, Barbie Benton, Love American Style, H.R. Puffin Stuff, and or Sid and Marty Krofft. I did talk to Russell Alexander on Thursday or Friday. He and I both needed a nap, or were preparing. No, I was preparing for a nap. He was taking a nap, and then the next day I forgot to call him, and I didn't call him today because I was taking a nap. And I'm old. But Russell Alexander, the hitman himself from the Hitman Blues Band, will be with us upcoming. Ed Robertson on Friday. Metal Maiden Vicky from Metal Maiden Vicky's Metal Euphoria on Sonic Asylum Radio. Cass Haley, and then maybe Bob Levy. We'll see. Let's see. Levy, don't you know me? Don't you know me? Levy. Don't you know me, Levy? Terry Nee says, tell us about you helping Indiana gain independence. Well, see, we didn't gain independence. We were admitted into the Union. It was first the Indiana Territory, you see. And future President William Henry Harrison was the governor of that territory. I forget, we're the 18th or 19th state. Rumpled Trenchcoat says, I hope you were careful with your mandolins with all those naps. I don't understand what the slam was about him playing the mandolin. Now, look, Carl can be a gushy little diva sometimes, but playing the mandolin is like a skill. It's a really cool thing. Why? I don't know. Portia is here. Says Tom Gully. Happy Texas Monday. Happy Texas Monday to you, Portia. People saying hi, and people saying hi. Tara says, didn't you fight in the revolution? I think fight's a strong word. I was the bugler. But in the War of 1812, then I did actual fighting. During the Revolutionary War, I was too young. I was just a bugler. The War of 1812, different story. Tippecanoe and Tyler too. Yeah. That was what I did there. Rumpled Trenchcoat says it was a stupid misunderstanding of a mini lawyer who confused mandolin with Mandalorian figurine. I gotcha. Yeah, the mini lawyer. And where are all the brave people from Joey Catalano's chat room that had so much to say? Was a mandolin on Hee Haw? I don't know. I closed my thing. There's no way to tell now. It's lost to the ages. I think if you're wondering if someone was on Hee Haw or if they weren't on Hee Haw, that you should always lean toward they were on Hee Haw. There's just so many people. Amanda Lynn. I'm not getting that joke. I'm sorry. Rumpled got it, but I'm not getting it. Amanda. I mean, there's the old joke, Amanda hug and kiss, but that's, I don't know that we're talking about the same thing. Okay, apparently we're not going to get any calls tonight. So I'll give it another 3 minutes. And then we'll hang it up. A bunch of people told me they liked having the calls the other day, and I said, okay, but nobody calls in, so why am I even doing it? And they said, no, you should leave it open and people will call in. And so now it's open and people aren't really calling in, as usual. I mean, I'll keep doing it and stuff. Hey, you know what else? I probably shouldn't mention this because it's a little, what's Amanda's last name? Amanda Lynn. I got it, Amanda Lynn. Now I'm getting it. My mind was in the gutter. But I'm just, you know, when you have that one debit card that you pay all your bills and everything with, and everything's cool, and you set it up, and you're groovy for like however many years, and then it comes to the end of the time for the thing, and you have to then switch everything over. I don't like that. Anyway. Rain. Are you getting rain? We got rain. We got rain yesterday. I think we might have rain again tomorrow. I don't know. I'm not leaving. And by the way, I'm desperately trying to quit smoking, which I just picked up again thanks to Bob Levy. Typically, I would go out and get some smokes because I'm down to one. I'm not going to go get any. I think I'm just going to gut through it and cold turkey it. Listen to Amanda Lynn Rain. It's a song. Bruce Hornsby, I think. By the way, Jake Husden. Is his name really Husden, or did he just spell it wrong? Look, let me get back to you after I show that she's laughing. Persh is saying howdy to Rumpled Trenchcoat. People saying hi. We do have the most cheerful chat room on the internet that's verified by independent sources. People saying hi. I was going to get back to Jake. Look, Jake has called into this program before. And, you know, Jake would be akin to someone else that I know on the internet. And Jake will bring nothing to the program. He will interrupt. He will filibuster. He will blame the whole world for everything that's going wrong in his life. He will walk around constantly showing his face on camera, mostly the ceiling. I don't know. Jake will then suddenly snap and hate me. And, you know, that's not going to be welcome here. All those other people, and I noticed a lot of people had Jake on for a long time. I think everybody just got tired of having Jake around. I don't know what Jake is doing now. I haven't seen him pop up on any of the shows that I'm on or that I watch. So I don't know. Jake is mean. Jake tries to play all innocent, and he's mean. He's kind of like the guy at the other place that life's too short. That every time somebody comes in the room, he's got some ass kiss remark. Are you still making those corn fritters? So are you still growing them flowers? Are you trying to ingratiate himself? And Jake, it's kind of the same way. He's like trying to get in because he's learned over time, or maybe he perceives that people will like him. Well, Jake, how's it going today? Well, I'm just mad because so-and-so said I was doing such and such, and beep, 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 beep. And you're just like, okay, I'm already not interested. Why did I ask? Why did you call? Why have you on? And it's usually I'm on because Jake's on because other people have had him on. And I'm thinking, okay, well, people have this guy on. He must have a following. He must be doing something right. No, he's not doing anything right. He's just an absolute derailer of shows. And I can't, what are you doing? What's the goal? Would I listen to that? No. So, Terry, thank you for asking. But no, Jake is probably never going to be on this show again. And by the way, he's also not clamoring to. He hasn't called back in here or any of that other stuff. I mean, Wendy, the slow adult, is welcome on this show. She calls in all the time. Frankie McDonald, if he ever wants to call back, all those people are welcome. It's not like I don't, but that guy, and he's mean. He's really mean. Tom Gully is the best. Don't sleep on him. Tom takes his time out to do the research and teaches about things we never think of. Tom is the best. Thank you so much. That's very nice of you to say. It's not that hard. I just look it up. We got Google. A lot of people don't. And by the way, there are people that will appear certain places that won't appear here because I will call them on their nonsense. I'll just, bam. No, that's not going to fly. Well, what I'm trying to say is, look, if you have to say what I'm saying is 5 times in the space of 5 minutes, that means one of 2 or 3 things. Either you didn't say it right to begin with. Number 2 is you're not really trying to say your point again. You're trying to morph it to fit the avalanche of you're wrong that was thrown in your face. Or 3, you're an idiot. Which of those 3 categories is good for a show? None. Rumpled Trenchcoat, the most generous man in the world, has gifted 5 Tom Gully Show memberships. If you don't have your gifted memberships turned on, you can do that right now at the very bottom of the screen. The scroll will tell you how to do it. Incidentally, I don't watch the YouTube, so I don't know how many of them are there, not there. But Rumpled Trenchcoat, brother, if you guys haven't been listening to Rumpled Trenchcoat, a Columbo podcast, watch an episode, listen to Rumpled Trenchcoat's program, then watch another episode, and then listen to his program on it. It'll change your life, man. Roller skater Texas girl says, I'm almost sure you're down the street from me, Tom. Am I talking that loud again? I live in Lake Highlands, roller skater Texas girl. Terry says, best Jake Hudson around. Is it Hudson or Husden? See, that's another thing. I can't have him on my show because he hasn't corrected his damn screen name. He comes on my show, I'm like, hey, we got Jake Husden. It's not Husden, it's Hudson. I couldn't tell what the second thing he said was to begin with, and I'm just like, hey, look, I'm reading what's on the screen. You don't like it, change it. Dummy. Portia says, Virgo, you remember now. Hey, Virgo. Yeah, you can go back and catch up on that 2-hour Pearl Harbor special I just did. Although I do. By the way, phone lines are open, 972-994-6822. I do do a tremendous Winston Churchill imitation. I think Julian was here. Who else was here? There was a few people. And maybe they can tell you just how great my Winston Churchill was. Roller skater, trench coat, rumple trench coat. So kind. Yes, he's a very benevolent man. No Jake, says Spider B. Spider B. I haven't seen you in here before. Thank you for being here. Terry Nee says, I wasn't asking you, so by the way, laugh, laugh, laugh. Terry Nee is the best. My pleasure, RSTG. Terry Nee says, voice to text, Starry. Portia says, trench coat, so very kind of you. Rumpled says, I did enjoy the Pearl Harbor special, for the record. Rumpled was here. Rumpled was on top of it, too. He had a lot of great stuff to say. Stanley Cross is here. Stanley. You ever go into a bar? Let's say it's a bar that's open till 3 in the morning, and it's like 12:30, and the place is kind of cleared out. It's a neighborhood bar. It's just, it's a small place, and there are two people that are so polluted they don't know what universe they're in. They can barely speak. The only thing they can say is, give me another. And there's a bartender there that has just got the patience of a saint, that is putting up with them as best he can, even though he's getting irritated once in a while, like we all would. Anybody would. Jesus himself would be irritated by these two blithering idiots. Stanley's that bartender late at night. If you're ever up late at night, Stanley does overnights and much more on the Urban Landlord Network channel. Sorry. And Stanley's in there with, hey, Stanley, are we still using the Constitution? Yes, we are. We are. And then back onto his thing, and then 30 seconds, hey, Stanley, who makes pencils? I mean, it's just... And then if he gets mad, he just starts throwing out the most random crap. And then he'll just start yelling when you try to talk. And the best thing is that one of the hosts thinks that's funny, thinks it's great. So they just let that go on. And maybe when I was 20, I'd put up with that. Nah, I've been on the radio a little bit. I've done a little few things, and then, I don't need that. I don't need that. And I'm also not the sort to go, I don't think you should do your thing this way. No, you do your thing however you want. That doesn't mean I got to do it. Roller Skater Text Girl said, yes, you are close. Okay, well, that's Roller Skater Text Girl, Portia, also here in Texas. Well, you knew that. When am I telling you that? You're from the Urban Landlord. Check it out at the Urban Landlord here on YouTube. Do it up. Julian Zezer says, I think Jake is related to a few other minor personalities in the greater verse, so nobody wants to be dismissive of him. I think that ship has sailed, Julian. I really do. I haven't seen him in ages on any show. Here, I just put the Urban Landlords thing in the chat. Rose Skater Girl is laughing. Yes, Portia and T are also close by. I did not realize that T was. T, who wants me to buy her a drink even though she's a married man, and she's a married woman, and if I don't, I'm cheap. Explain to me how I'm the cheap one when you're the one begging for drinks. Just asking. Just asking. If you didn't throw the you're cheap thing into it, I would be like, well, if everybody wants a drink, but it's like, hey, if you want a drink from me and you're a married woman, guess what? I know where you can get a drink. See that guy over there with the matching wedding ring? He can buy you drinks, or you can buy yourself drinks. I'm not on the hook for it. Do you understand why men buy women drinks? I don't think you do. But that person might have been a little tipsy that night, so but I'm just saying. So is HB. All right. Let's see here. YouTube.com/@theurbanlandlord. Check them out. There's wonderful times and celebrations and conversation and fellowship at the end of the day. Portia says, Texas girl. Yes, ma'am. But seriously, I got to pay the freight for your drink. I don't even drink. I'm one of those guys, I'll buy a round for the table if we're celebrating or something else. But when it's like, buy me a drink. Well, I don't even know you. What am I, just like the drink vendor all of a sudden? You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Plus, it's a married woman. I'm not buying a married woman a drink. I'm sorry. For a variety, I think it's disrespectful to the husband. I'm also wondering why the husband isn't buying the drink. I mean, if you know what I mean. Look, I've been to a lot of weddings. I know there's nothing in the marital vows that say having to hold honor, good times and poor, rich and poor. Blah, blah, blah. When you need a drink, you'll buy her one. I know that's not in the ceremony. All the other things are, but that isn't. I know that, but it just seems implied. It really seems implied to me, personally. That's all I'm saying. People are laughing. Roman Trench goes, what am I? Some kind of drink ATM? Exactly. Oh, by the way, another thing I do is I'll throw a big party. And if I throw a big party, there's no cash bar. The drinks will be available. Hence, I'm not buying you one. Go get one yourself. For the love of Mike. And then call me cheap. Please. Doopa says a married woman asking you to buy a drink is trouble. Very disrespectful. That's what I was saying. And that's what other people said. And it didn't. But everybody deserves a bad night. She's a very nice person. Apparently very popular with folks. I'm married. Would you buy me a drink? Just how married are you? Hiya, Dupa's here. Dupa is the best. Gosh, we love Dupa. She's a laughing. Rumble says hello. Oh, this guy says, glad I don't drink. Yeah, I don't either. Terry Nee says, I cherish being cheap. Frugal, some would call it. Roller says she was probably drinking. Well, no, she was. She was. So I'm cutting her a break. But the topic, the conversation persists. Because this is not the first time I've run into that, which is like, well, I exist, so you owe me a drink. What? Huh? What? Why am I? You know what I mean? And it gets back to, do you know why men buy women drinks? It's not to make friends with people that are married. It's, you know why. You know why. You know why. Hey. Have a drink. Roller Skater Texas girl says, I'm 40 years married. I have no room for nonsense. There you go. Dupa says, I subscribe to Urban Landlord. Portia and Stanley are great. Are they not? Are they not? There's some fine people there. There's some very fine people there. Roller Skater Texas girl says, my husband and I stay home. Well, where am I right now? And I went out yesterday. I went out to some... Look, I love Texas. But every time somebody tells me about a Greek, Turkish, Middle Eastern type of restaurant, oh my God, it's the best thing ever. You wait till you see. I grew up north. You can't find a good taco or Mexican food to eat up there. I'll readily admit that. If the people from Texas will admit, you ain't got no Greek or Middle Eastern down here. Not even. So I went to this place, and it was okay, but it would be out of business a week into their, being open in Indianapolis. It's just not, like, I should have left there craving more of it. And I left there going, the token white guy isn't bad either. Is that supposed to be me, or is it supposed to be Ryan? Because Ryan is awful. He's extremely dismissive. Extremely dismissive. And he likes to do a little trolling. He's smart. He's a smart guy. He's a nice guy. I like him and everything. But, man, there's just been too many times when I'm like, actually what you're referring to as the bullet is actually the cartridge or the round. No. You don't know what I'm talking about. See, the bullet, it's the projectile that goes into the person. The casing is the part that goes out of the gun, and the primer is in the bottom of the casing. And altogether, it's called a cartridge, not a bullet. Well, I just worked for a firearm company and written about 300 articles on firearms. But no, you know better. There's no amount of convincing facts, statistics, reality, empirical evidence that will convince some people they're wrong. And I don't say somebody's wrong unless I know 100% they're wrong. I never do that. My friends know that when I say to them, would you like to bet money? That means give up your argument, give it up. He knows he's 100% correct. You're going to... Want to bet money right now? Okay, you're right. I get it. Roller skater Texas girl T is a very faithful and lovely young lady. She was just kidding around. I've known her for 2 years. She would never cheat. I'm not saying she would cheat. That's no. Never would I say that. That's not. I didn't say that. That's the furthest thing from forever that I would say. I'm just saying you would buy me a drink. You cheap. I'm like, how can you beg somebody for a drink and then call them cheap? How does that work? Tell me in what universe that works. I'm just saying. Terry Nee says, I heard after 40 years of marriage, the husband gets a non-revocable entrance to heaven. I have 10 more years left. Yeah, if she gives you 10. If you don't drink the antifreeze one night, Terry, yes, but you reunite with your loved ones in heaven. Let's see here. Robert Trenchcoat says, my uncle lost his thumbnail due to playing with a cartridge he thought was spent when he was a kid. See, Rumpled knows. Dupa, my German Shepherd, your loved one? I didn't know you had a German Shepherd. Oh, I hope so. Now all dogs go to heaven, I've heard. It's just what I heard. All right, I'm closing the phone lines. We're going to stick a fork in this thing. Man, I appreciate all you guys showing up tonight. I don't know what tomorrow's show is yet. You want to decide right now? Let's decide right now, because I got to create the artwork and everything about 2 seconds after this show's over. Tuesday night in the great metropolis. Let's see here. We could do that Nicholas Rowe show that I aborted because it has to be perfect, and StreamYard hammered me to the keister on that one. So we got Nick Rowe or Cracker Jack or Phil Hartman. And we're going to center on what his wife did. But we'll cover more of Phil Hartman than that. I'll just give you a little tease on Phil Hartman. Did you know that Phil Hartman designed the covers of some of your favorite rock and roll vinyl albums back in the 70s and the 80s? Did you know that he was the graphic designer on them? He was. And I'll tell you more. So Phil Hartman, Cracker Jack, or Nicholas Rowe. Somebody, Terry, let's see here. Dupa, my German. Oh, here we go. Summer of my German Shepherd. Roller Skater Texas Girl says, great show, Tom. Thank you, Roller Skater Texas Girl, and thank you for your kind donation to the program. Terry Nee says he loves dirty jobs. Not that Rowe. It's a different Rowe. It's not Mike Rowe. Mike Rowe, you know, he's got such credibility with working class people of the land, the hard work, the people with the sweat and sinew that get the things done that this country needs done. Oh, by the way, Mike Rowe, before he started Dirty Jobs, working on that show, do you know what his occupations were? Let me tell you. Opera singer, QVC host. Yeah. He's washed with pumice a lot of times. Yeah, break. Now he's reinvented himself as this conservative. We need to teach industrial arts. And it's like, dude, you never worked 40 hours a week on a job for your pay. Now, maybe he did as a roofer in the summers or something. Well, maybe he just did, but I'm just tired of him. Well, my God, this thing's filling up so damn fast. Mike Rowe. I'll do a whole show on him. That'll sting him. All 17 people that watch this program. Let's see. Phil Hartman. You want Phil Hartman? Phil? Okay, we're going to do Phil Hartman tomorrow. Phil Hartman it is. Terry and me is laughing on the opera board. He was an opera singer. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with being an opera singer or working for QVC, but come on, man. You then can't just crawl through some pig poop for a TV show and go, I'm here to tell you, here's what this country needs. Well, you know what? There's a big gap. They need more vocational and more blah, blah. We all know that. You didn't invent that. Tom Zacomi. I don't even know what that means. Rumpled Trenchcoat says, a jackhammering ballerina. He's still walking the walk, though. I know. He's got more ball caps. And he, picked up a guy that was driving and stuff to the airport or some sort of Ubering or something. And the guy told him about his little business. And he's a working man. Let me just give this guy a spiff and put him out there. And now the guy's got a lot of business or something. And it's just like, what? Right now, if Mike Rowe came to your house, would you let him take the full-size water heater out of your house and put in a tankless heater? Would you let him do that? Would that be something you were comfortable allowing him to do? I say, if you say yes, then you're a person that likes walking through 2 or 3 inches of water on the floor of your. Dupa is laughing. Roller Skater Girl is smiling. I think that's going to do it. Tomorrow we'll have Phil Hartman and his crazy pants wife. And, but I appreciate all of you being here today. I especially appreciate my good friend, Roller Skater Texas Girl, with her kind donation to the program. I really appreciate the birthday boy from yesterday, Joey Catalano, Joey C., for becoming a new member. Joey is a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful man. And then Rumpled Trenchcoat, man, he's so good to this show. And him gifting the 5 Tom Gully Show memberships. That is so nice, and you've you made it possible for other people to be drawn into my members-only programming. Terry Nee says, for the 10th year in a row, we're launching the next Work Ethic Scholarship Program and giving away another $1 million in scholarships. Is that a real thing? Oh, the Mike Rowe Foundation. Hey, everybody needs a tax write-off. And who knows where he got that money from. I mean, the money probably came from sponsors and, it comes from manufacturers and people like that. Hey, if he's doing a good thing, he's doing a good thing. I'm not saying that he's never done a good thing in his life. I'm just saying, let's just tap the brakes with, Mike Rowe's been on top of a 40-foot phone pole with 10-penny nails in his mouth. Looking forward to that, Tom. Good. Can't win with you. He's doing a wonderful thing. I'm glad for him. He should. What, do you think if I became a millionaire, I wouldn't come up with some $100 million fund to benefit aging former radio personalities? Of course I would. First thing I would do. They're looking for hardworking men and women who will keep the lights on, the water running, air flowing, people who will show up early, stay late, and bust their asses to get the job done. Yeah, so like the people that are currently doing it. They just need more of them. I think the problem isn't any of the things we're talking about. I think the problem is that people don't offer up the trades as a viable option to college. I think everything is just college. Man, if you become a master machinist or welder, or there's a whole bunch of other things. Now, get ready, because robots are going to start taking over some of these things, not all of them. But plumbing, oh my God, what a great job that is. That's a very well-paying job. You know, it's a hard job. Roller skate, text girl, I got to work an hour to 30. I go to work an hour to 30 minutes early. Hey, man, I'm at work at 6 a.m. working. And I work and I work and I work and I keep working and I work some more. And I've always been that way. The work I do from, say, 6 in the morning till 9, when most people finally get in, that's 3 hours. But it's 3 uninterrupted, unfettered hours. So I get damn near a day's worth of work done during those 3 hours. Not totally, but we're getting close to half a day anyway, just in time. And that allows me to goof off for the rest of the day. And it allows me certain benefits of, that's when I do my research, that's when I do a lot of other things, and then if it's all done, nobody asks me for anything. You know, if it's finished, it's finished. And if you work too hard, you'll one day regret people knowing that you're successful, because then you'll end up like String Bean. Because you'll have to look like that as a performer, which I would do if they paid me enough money. I mean, I think everybody would. But then getting murdered. I'm not fond of getting murdered. I don't see a path. Rumpled Trenchcoat says, I can't pretend anymore. I'm just jealous about the nap thing. Naps are great, aren't they? Till about 5 years ago, I was a horrible insomniac, and I still kind of am. But prior to about 5 years ago, I just rejected sleep. I wouldn't, like, the thought of laying down in a bed or on a couch or whatever and sleeping just seemed like a waste of time to me. Now, even if it's only 2 or 3 hours, I'm like, yeah, that's 2 or 3 hours. It'll be good. It's going to get good to me. Yeah. Anyway, that is looking at that old clock on the wall, and it says, well, like the Reverend Al Green, it's time for me to get on up out of here. You do not have to go home, but you can't stay here. And thank all of you for being here, man. You guys are the best. I just so appreciate your time and so appreciate the support. And hopefully you had a good time. We're going to do it again tomorrow with Phil Hartman. And until next time, we'll see you next time.